Episode 3783, Why Are We Overloading Our Kids' Schedules?
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. It's Friday. Yes, it is. And that means it's Confessions of an Upset Mama. And did you know what is around the corner? Have you ever seen those yellow buses coming around lately? It's back to school. It's here for a lot of people already. And so we got to talk about it. Why are we overloading our kids' schedules? For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already even had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter. The Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Okay, yes, I was out driving yesterday, and what did I see? The big yellow school buses. I was like, yes, school is back in session. I love it. Actually, I don't love it. I never liked when my kids went back to school. We homeschooled them for years, and then they did go to private school. They went to a Catholic private school. They went to a Lutheran private school. They also went to a traditional public school. And so they've seen all aspects of it all. And I really love that, honestly. It gave them and us some flexibility when we needed it. And then it also gave them opportunity to see how other things were structured and that mama isn't always the teacher, even though I always wear the teacher's hat. So I love back to school. I think it's a fabulous thing. It's not because I want to send my kids away. It's because I want them to learn. I want them to grow and be stretched. And I think that's what most of us as parents want for our kiddos, right? We want the best for them. But as the school year begins, we have to start making some major decisions. And maybe you've already started that. And what it looks like in the calendar, right? And as parents, there's nothing we want more than our children to succeed. We want them to score the goals, earn those trophies, and collect the accolades that show they're thriving. We want them to get all A's on the report card or do the best that they can. If all C's are great because that's where your child is, that's great. You celebrate that, right? But somewhere along the way, many of us have crossed the line from supporting their growth to overloading their lives. Why are we overloading our kids' schedules? Because honestly, kids today often have calendars so packed that downtime and rest become foreign concepts. It's like, I don't know how to rest. I have to keep doing it. I have to keep going. And it doesn't help also because of what? The technology we have in our hands. Most of our kiddos now, honestly, at the point they're born, they've got some form of technology in their hand. And definitely by their time, most of the time for high school, they all have phones. But even sometimes in middle school, all the way down into elementary, they're carrying cell phones. Are you serious? Yes. So if we're sitting here jam-packing their schedule and they can't ever escape anything, it's no wonder they don't know what rest and downtime is. It's no wonder that they're always going and they're always having to do. They don't know how to sit and be still. Be still and know that I am God. I mean, that always comes back to me in this. And the whole point being that sometimes we let everything else run our lives instead of letting who created us run it for us. And yes, we have to make earthly decisions in order for God to make a heavenly move. But come on, parents, let's think about this. Why do we do this? Why do we jam our kids' schedules so much that we're running from one thing to the next, that we actually have to go through a drive-through to get dinner? You know, I remember a kid that, good friend of my children, and he came over and stayed for a weekend. He lived out of town. He had moved away and came back. And he said, oh, I love that place. I don't remember what it was. It was some smoothie type restaurant. And he said, oh, yeah, in between sessions, I go there and we get this smoothie and this is what I get. That was my dinner. And I'm like, I sat there for a minute and thought, okay, that's cool and healthy. And then I thought, but that's so sad. Because that becomes your go-to for your meal. I get once in a while, but all the time? You know, think about the pressure cooker of childhood, right? The reasons behind these jam-packed schedules, they're very complex. Sometimes it's about giving kids opportunities that we as parents never had. Sometimes it's peer pressure or fear of missing out. Like, oh gosh, if they just don't get in, they're not going to get that skill. They're not going to gain it. Other times it's a parent's own unfulfilled ambitions. Have you had that reality check with you? Or the desire to check every box on the successful child list. Like, oh, if they're not doing this, and this because Johnny's doing that, then, well, I guess we're going to be on the bottom of the totem pole. So nope, can't do that. We got to get them all involved. This is what they're doing. Regardless of the motivation, the result is the same. Children are running from one activity to the next with little room left to just be kids. At what point do your kids get to be kids? Now, obviously, you have to think about the stages, right? I can remember back when our kiddos were young and we wanted to introduce them to a variety of things. We have a son. We have 3 sons, actually, but our 4 or 5, he's one who is not our outside athletic, go get him. Like, he'll do some things, but he's not going to do it on his own. Like, he's not going to go walk around the block, but he'll stay in the house and walk on the treadmill or do laps in the game room. I mean, that's just how he is. Nothing wrong with that. And he's my bookworm. He loves to read. He loves to be doing research and diving deeper. He's the one who got 3 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree in 1 year. In 5 years, he completed that. Yeah, crazy? Yeah, but that's him. However, I tell you that story to understand the story when he was little. We put him in tackle football. Why? Because he needed the team experience. After that season, we asked him and talked to him. Do you like it? Nope, don't like it. Okay, great. That's not for you. Now, we do that at certain ages, right? Maybe they're 3, 4 years old, all the way up to maybe 2nd, 3rd grade, and they start getting the feeling of like, what are my interests? But at what point do we stop feeling it to where it's not these just little 6 to 8 week sessions? It's now become, oh wait, a traveling sport that we do it year round. Think about it. If we're always punching in the schedule, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. Family dinners now are just rushed affairs. Weekends look like mini work weeks. And the simple joys of unstructured play and imagination, well, they're crushed under the weight of schedules. No one can breathe, especially the kids. And then you wonder why you're going, gosh, why do I feel so tired? I don't get anything done. Because you're chasing your kids that you set up. You gave them the schedule. Even in high school. At what point is this for them, not you? And I know when you have multiple kids, it gets even more complicated. Tell me about it. 5 kiddos, man, sometimes I was just a tornado, always in the making. I was in the car and didn't get out of the car. Now, I will tell you this. We actually had dinner. We did snacks in the car and dinner was late. Why? Dad worked late, and so it worked out. It's just what we did. But if we had really late nights, then we tried to do some shifting and all of that. But I took them everywhere. Dad was working on building his career. That was a mutual agreement. So don't sit here and say, he wasn't being a good dad. Oh, no, he was. But it was my job to make sure they were where they needed to be and picked up, etc. You see, it's easy for us to, mistake our own desires for their needs. When do we stop introducing new activities and start pushing? When does helping them get ahead turn into overscheduling for adult satisfaction? I mean, these are questions that are hard but crucial. We've got to ask them. And that's why it's important to unschedule without sacrificing excellence. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Unschedule without sacrificing excellence. Say that. There's a lot of S's in that one. The kisses and unschedule without sacrificing excellence. And I think that's really key. It's not about them becoming perfect and masters of everything. But at what point do you say you're going to rise to this, but you can't rise any higher unless if you give up something? Right? Kids aren't better off juggling 10 activities if they're miserable, exhausted, or anxious. Are they having stomach aches because they really are having stomach aches? Or are they having these stomach aches because, well, no, they just can't hack it because their schedules are so packed? And you just don't equate that. You don't put 2 + 2 = 4. You think 2 + 3 = 4. Success isn't about quantity, it's about quality. It's about nurturing their unique talents and passions at their own pace with space to breathe and grow. But if we pack their schedule so much, seriously, how do you do it? As our kids got older, we told them they were allowed to pick 2 main activities outside of what the school was doing. Because we knew the school would work within, kind of their extracurricular stuff where, okay, you can do this and this and this. And so they wouldn't overstack it and they could do that. But if they wanted to do outside activities beyond what they were doing in school, then it was like you could only have 2. Because otherwise we're going to be running everywhere and we can't have that. And so we did. As our kids got older, each of them picked 2 focuses. And that's what they did. And I'm not saying it was easier. No, not with 5 kids. Are you kidding me? Once we had them all old enough to be in things, I think I went from one thing to the next and I thought maybe my head will hit the pillow by 11 o'clock. But then I still had other things to do. So I was not in bed until 1:30. Sometimes 2. And you wonder when I sleep. I don't know. That's a good question. But the kids get to sleep because mom is going to keep them on the schedule that works for them. And also, this is another thing to think about. Don't sacrifice their grades for their activities. Don't. Their mind is a powerful thing. And so I would just encourage you to really think, why are you doing what you're doing? Ask those tough questions. And find that harmony, right? That line in the sand where you're like, yeah, it's kind of blurred. It is. But you go down the road and you figure it out as you do it. Obviously, at the stages of life that they're in, right? You're not going to look at a toddler and pre-K the same as you'll look at someone who's in middle school. They operate totally different. So you have to do what's right for the child in the stage of life that they're in. So what does it look like in real life to unschedule without sacrificing excellence? Number 1, prioritize depth over breadth, right? Deep, not wide. A lot of businesses follow it. Go deep. Don't necessarily be so broad. Choose 1 or 2 activities where your child can truly develop focus and skill rather than spreading them thin across everything. Mastery and confidence come from commitment, not chaotic juggling. I mean, yeah, I guess if they want to be a clown, then have them in everything. But if you want them to master things, be picky as they get older. Start, cutting it down. It's easy to do those 6 to 8 week sessions when they're young. 4-year-olds to oh my goodness, I don't know, 10-year-olds or maybe even 8-year-olds. It gives them a taste of basketball and football and, all of it, baseball or softball and cheerleading. They get just an overall taste of things. And then they're like, well, I kind of like this. This is good, right? I like soccer. Can I try that, Mom? And then it's like, okay, well, what is it? And then all of a sudden now they go for a different team that's a little higher up, but they're doing less things. They take off 2 things. They're not going to do basketball. They're not going to do baseball also. They're going to do soccer this season. And if soccer doesn't pan out, maybe next season they do golf. If that doesn't pan out, they find something else. But if they're all over the place, it's no wonder that they feel like a clown than they do a human being and a child that says, you know what, I kind of have it all together in my head. Kids are going to school with toothpicks in their eyes, like trying to keep their eyelids open, right? That's not right. It's wrong. That should not be our children's everyday look, right? Or they're just like trying to peel back their eyelids. I know sometimes I get so tired, my eyelids are just like, okay, I'm done. And there are times I do just have to push through. But even then, I usually have to take a 15-minute power nap. What about your kids? Number 2, build in buffer zones for rest and play. You got to schedule blank spots on the calendar purposefully. Why? Because they're not going to do it. They're just going to go and go and go and go and go until somebody tells them, stop, put on the yikes. These are non-negotiable downtime moments where your kids can relax and explore hobbies, maybe read or just recharge. Remember, rest fuels growth and creativity. Are they getting what they need? Do they have that downtime? I mean, obviously with toddlers, they get nap time. I'm like, can I have nap time now? With my mom now being with me, I'm like, okay, it's time for nap time. And she giggles. She's like, yeah, I don't want nap time. I said, you don't have a choice, it's nap time. And so, my grandbabies, I do that too. Right now it's nap time, but pretty soon they're going to be out of nap time. And in all honesty, I think we have to look at it. Maybe we do need those 15-minute power naps. And if your kids are running themselves ragged, what's going to happen when they get older? Are they going to be too exhausted to enjoy life, or to the point where they can't slow down because they never learned how? And finally, number 3, check in and listen often. Make your child a daily partner in planning. Ask them how they feel about their schedule and what they really enjoy. My number 4 or 5, what did he do? Oh, yeah. He was like, I don't like football, Mom. Hence, look at his degrees. Yeah, it speaks for himself. Electrical engineering, who would have thunketh, right? I mean, that's him, not me. It's wonderful. Top of the class. So, you've got to let your children grow into who they are becoming. And you have to facilitate that. And that means you're making decisions every single time that's best for them, not for you. And their input helps guard against adult-driven overload and truly fosters their independence. Even in the elementary age, you can say, hey, Bobby, do you want to do baseball this year? No, Mom, I didn't really enjoy it. I don't really want to do it this year. Oh, okay. Is there something else you might want to do? Yeah, I'm kind of interested in taking trumpet lessons. What? Yeah, maybe it's out of left field, but left field might be the best field, and it might be music. So test it out. See. Check in with them. We parents hold the reins in shaping childhood. Did you know that? We do. Not just to create achievers, but to raise these amazing human beings who will go out and impact the world that they touch, who know balance and joy and how to live fully. And when we choose harmony over hustle, we give our kids a gift far greater than trophies. It now becomes a childhood worth remembering. So let's make sure your child's schedule isn't a trap this year. Yeah, back to school is kind of crazy. Got to shop for this, got to do this, got to meet all the teachers. I get it. And if your kid's going off to college, you're like, oh, Christiane, if I could meet all the teachers, I would love to. Now they're an adult and I can't. I know, been there, done that. And then when you call and you want to know how they're doing, they won't tell you anything. It is so hard. But you'll get through it, right? Because when you make sure your child's schedule isn't a trap, they'll take that with them. And that then becomes their roadmap to thriving through their life. You got this, Mom. You're doing a great job. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed weekend. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.